Did you know that a guy awakening is the most commonly used way of starting a film in Hollywood? So, is this going to be an average Hollywood production? Average, maybe. Hollywood, not at all. In the end, our budget is only €1.5. So, why a guy awakening? Because this guy we casted for this film is a metaphor for all the misery suffered in this miserable world. Potato, your argument is invalid. You're welcome. You may think now that whatever this video is about is senseless bullcrap. If you're actually having these thoughts, you are wrong. We are deadly serious. At the end of the day, we are talking some serious matter in this video, as it concerns the future of many young Dutch folks, and perhaps the whole Dutch society. Just the Netherlands? That tiny country Americans know because it's situated near Amsterdam? Well, I'll tell you something. Amsterdam is actually situated in the Netherlands, and yes, that country. This is the problem. Our government will be cutting on study finances. That was it. The problem. End of the movie. Thanks for watching, guys. No, not quite. Sure, this is the problem, but this needs some explanation. This is Douwe, an average VWO student. He's an intelligent, knowledgeable guy. He especially stands out when it comes to beta subjects, like maths and physics. Without too much effort, he scores 8 out of 10 for most of his tests. Furthermore, unlike youth today, he's quite interested in politics. When he becomes eligible to vote, he says he'll be voting D66. Because of his talents for beta studies, he is seriously considering doing an engineering study. However, because of new rules being introduced by the government in September, doing such a time-consuming and tough study has become very, very unattractive.
Hi, I'm Hein van Dier, and this is an explanation for the system of the financing for the higher education in the Netherlands. I will tell you about de basisbeurs, het studentenreisproduct, de aanvullende beurs and the types of loans for the studies. First up, there is the basisbeurs. If someone who does an education on the MBO niveau 3 or 4, HBO or WO finishes his education within 10 years, he will get the first 4 years financed by the government. If someone does a second education after his MBO niveau 4 to the HBO or the WO, he will get another 4 years financed if he finishes it in 10 years. Then there is the studentenreisproduct. This means that students can travel for free with the public transport. The students can travel for free from the 1st of May to the 1st of September. And in the summer months they get a discount. The discount goes from the duration of the original education plus 3 years after the education. Dan, er is de aanvullende beurs. De aanvullende beurs is an addition to the basisbeurs. Only the people whose parents have a low income can get de aanvullende beurs. Finally, there is the loans for the years that are not financed by the government. This loan can be lent from the government. There are two advantages to this loan. First up, this loan has much lower interest than at a regular bank. And secondly, this loan only has to be paid back 10 years after getting the degree.
Thank you, Hein, for the elaborate explanation and for being ridiculously photogenic. Next up, the law proposal. The law proposal is called Studying Means Investment, or in Dutch, studeren is investeren, which is a tiny bit contradictive considering that they are actually going to cut down on university scholarships. These are the points being cut down on. College students have to pay more for their own study. A full university study consists of a bachelor and a master phase. In the new law proposal, it says that students will not receive their basic scholarships anymore during the master period. When an MBO 4 student goes to university, he or she will only receive study financing for 1 more year, instead of the usual 4 years. Additionally, tax deductions for educational costs will be partly abolished. Only compulsory schooling costs will have their taxes reduced. Moreover, the time you get to use a public transport card as a student for free is brought back by 2 years. When you get caught using your card after invalidation, you risk a €97 fine per 2 weeks. And last but not least, there will also be a second law proposal introduced. This one's called the long study fine, or in Dutch, de langstudeerboete. This new law says it's not allowed to study any longer than 1 year the actual study should take. If this rule is not complied with, a ridiculous fine of €3,000 is given. All these radical changes have their consequences, and most evidently they are everything but good. The first most obvious result is that most university students will most certainly go to foreign countries like Belgium after getting their bachelor degree. In this newspaper article, it says that already a significant amount of students is doing this, and mainly for 2 reasons. Studying is about 3 times as cheap as in the Netherlands, and Belgium is not that different from the Netherlands. I mean, the language is more or less the same, and our culture is not that different from theirs, is it? What I think is that the government has seen this coming already. However, they see this as an advantage. They think that after the students get their master degree, they will return to the Netherlands, meaning they stimulate what they call the knowledge economy, for free. But what if Dutch students like it there? Belgium is a nice place to live after all. Or perhaps they may have found a job there. The Netherlands isn't the ideal place to find jobs anyway. The second major consequence is that those tough engineering studies become even less attractive. The fact that they are difficult and may take a little longer scares people off, as they are barely allowed to study any longer. And to make matters worse, engineers are the key towards becoming a knowledge economy, something that the government wants so badly. Whether this is really going to happen, we don't know, but the fact is, the brain drain effect will occur. It's happening at this very moment already. This is our proud country. You can see that by the smile and its fashionable haircut. The reason it's happy is because it has a well-working, vivid economy that is based on trading. However, it cannot rely on trading alone. To make up for the rest, it needs the knowledge economy. Unfortunately, the current rules being introduced obstruct this. This is the alternative we came up with. Do not cut the frick down on scholarships. But when the government really needs to, cut down on the studies that do not stimulate the knowledge economy. This is what we call selective study financing. The government should only finance studies which contribute to the knowledge economy. This is what we call selective study financing. The government should only finance studies which contribute to the knowledge economy. In addition, MBO studies should also be fully financed, as MBO education always prepares students for a specific job. We plead for a system that determines the current importance and demand for a specific education. Based on that, we can provide a clue as to how much a study should be financed. This will make tough and useful studies more attractive. And additionally, the investment the government makes will actually be worth the money. A double win, I would say. Most unfortunately, the current law proposals have already been implemented into the law. Let's face it, there's nothing we can do anymore. An entire generation of intelligent people is bound to get lost due to the cruelty of the cabinet. Thanks, Prime Minister.